What's up everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. A few reasons why I'm looking forward to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I'll share them with you in this video and we're gonna go from there. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is a newer concept in a sense. It's something that Rocksteady is taking some of their older experience, some of their old worlds to reinvigorate this particular franchise and reinvigorate this genre of video games. So this is one of the main reasons I'm looking forward to this game. Now, if you really want to take a very solid look at the way things are, you can go back and look at, say, maybe even the comics for this particular genre. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is actually, in my opinion, taking a lot of notes from the Justice League versus Suicide Squad set of literature. This is a set of literature where you can get your hands on and you can see the Justice League members and some of the Suicide Squad members basically duke it out. It's a very interesting write in what I've read so far. In fact, I think I've read the whole thing, compared to, say, a lot of the other comic lines that I've gotten my hands into. By the way, I'm not really a comic buff. That's why I have digital copies of my comics. It was starting this channel that got me into comics. A lot of people started to say, hey man, go check out the comics, and I was able to gather a lot more context as to what's going on. I don't know if I should show you pages because I don't really want to spoil things for you, but hey, just do a spoiler warning right now. There might be spoilers if you were looking forward to reading this particular comic. So this Suicide Squad versus Justice League comic actually has a loop that I actually do like. It's an interesting loop that brings a villain versus superhero versus villain type, cycle to it. Basically, you have some of the Suicide Squad members who are villains in a place where they are fighting against the Justice League, who are the heroes, and then they eventually are co-opted into working together to fight another set of villains. In the case of the Suicide Squad game, what you actually have is a slight mix of that same paradigm, in sense that the heroes are now corrupted. They are now the villains, and the Suicide Squad members are in a place where they have to take down these heroes because their lives depend on it. So somehow they are now the anti-heroes versus the former heroes who are now the villains, while working together with some of the heroes who have not been corrupted to take down, basically this huge boss. So it's very nice because there's a huge boss here. There's a huge boss in the comics. By the way, if you don't know, in the comics here, there's actually a boss that takes on some interesting, crazy, powerful form that they actually have to deal with. And they basically pull up some really cool characters, from the side. In fact, I wish that the comic had these characters, in a sense. Well, Harley is in both the comics and here too. But then the game itself had some of the characters in the comics, because we got to see characters like Lobo. It's really, really cool to have that character in a video game. I would love to see Lobo in a game one day. So these are some of the things that I do like about Suicide Squad. I like the fact that it's a new concept, and I like the fact that it's taking this cycle to go on and just, basically redefine what we think in the superhero world, or at least showcase what's been in the superhero world for a very long time when it comes to video games, superheroes, villains, and anti-heroes. And Rocksteady has not been, in a sense, very foreign to this concept. And yes, even if I said that they're trying to maybe put a new spin on things, they have been flirting with this particular layer, or not level, I would just say this particular layer, of telling the stories from the Arkham games. Remember, in Arkham City, there was a collaboration, heavy collaboration, and spoilers here, between Catwoman and Batman. It was a huge collaboration in a sense whereby if you as Catwoman did not intervene in the game in some way, you basically tanked everything overall. Like, you were in a position where you kind of had your choice made for you. And then in Arkham Knight, there was not only a collaboration between Batman and Catwoman in a sense to take down the Joker, there was a huge one between Batman and Poison Ivy. Even though they were not necessarily the best of friends, you got to see that dynamic play out where Poison Ivy becomes a huge part in the game because of her own, sacrifice to making sure that things worked out well. Yeah, Batman had to kind of threaten her, but she did not necessarily seem to want to play along anyways. She just kind of felt disenfranchised over everything. So seeing that collaboration and seeing the way that's probably going to play out in the Suicide Squad Justice, Kill the Justice League game, to me is actually quite exciting. I think for the most part, Rocksteady is trying to bring that aspect of their storytelling, to a full extent. They want to showcase how all this stuff is going to be. It also seems to me as well that in this particular game, the events that have led here has probably harmonized some of, say, the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League members and the, superheroes. Because here, Harley Quinn in this particular scene, shows a level of familiarity that we haven't necessarily seen in a long time. See, she punches Batman's statue out of fear, and she seems to be a little upset with him. But at the same time, when the Bat really does show up, she seems to be the one that's telling everybody, we're fine. Batman doesn't kill people. And she's trying to say, hey, hey, Batsy Boo, are you okay? All that stuff. So they're familiar. They seem to have moved a little bit past some of their grievances, and we're going to see some of this stuff highlight in the game. So when you ask me what I'm looking forward to Suicide Squad, I'm looking forward to a lot of the way the game is structured. Now, in terms of gameplay, it's going to be a shooter light in a sense. It's not going to be an RPG shooter. So I really appreciate that part. But I want to see what the melee and the shooter combination looks like, because there will be melee and shooting combination. I mean, some of you already know this. You saw the gameplay, trailer where you got to see Harley Quinn, kicking butt. You got to see all of the Suicide Squad members basically traversing around the world, basically dealing with enemy NPCs and so on and so forth. This is really interesting to take a very good look at, because at the end of the day, one of the things about a lot of these video games is if it's actually going to be a very fun experience. To me, it looks like it. I hope the gameplay is smooth, which, I think Rocksteady is able to execute, no doubt. And I'm hoping that a lot of the systems and mechanics are something that is really impactful in the overall set of the game. But at the end of the day, this is a surface level discussion. We really need to keep seeing more for us to continue to make our conclusions, for us to continue to draw from what the game is going to provide in regard to an entire gameplay, story, narrative, and progression experience. So these are my thoughts so far. I'd like to hear what you think in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching the video. I appreciate you guys' time and audience, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.